I may not be an audiophile, but I listen to a lot of music, mainly from the Renaissance and Baroque periods, but I've also got an extensive collection of music from the 1960s onwards up until the early 2000s. Having owned a variety of Walkmans and portable music players over the years, the arrival of smartphones capable of delivering decent quality music, typically to my headphones, made the need for a separate music player redundant, or so I thought. In the meantime, I've always made an effort to improve the sound quality playback from my PC, which currently has a Fiio E10K DAC linked to a pair of Edifier R1280T speakers, which has been a reliable setup for a number of years now. As my lifestyle changed and there were more occasions when I still wanted to listen to music but needed my mobile phone for other tasks or in a different room, I decided to get a DAP and went for the Fiio M6 based on the success of using the Fiio 10K on my PC. After 5 years, the Fiio M6 has certainly put in the hours, but the cutback Android platform has increasingly struggled and my Deezer app stopped working, with the Circle of Doom happy to spin for hours with little chance of any music getting played. Add to that my PC stopped recognising it and its days were over. In looking for a replacement, I knew I wanted a DAP which supported Deezer without the need to download an APK file, and as the Sony A306 runs Android 12, it was an obvious choice. Other reasons I chose the A306 included the price point, the LDAC Bluetooth codec, the build quality including the aluminium case, and details like using gold soldering, and also the fact that I'm comfortable with the Sony brand. As well as the 3.5-inch touchscreen, the A306 has traditional buttons down the right hand side which control power on and off, volume up and down, skip to previous and next track, a play and pause button, as well as a hold switch to lock playback and volume buttons. There's a microphone and a charge lamp on the front, and on the bottom there's a USB-C port for charging and data transfer, a mini stereo jack socket, a micro SD slot, and an attachment for a lanyard. Turning the A306 on, the boot up was significantly slower than my Samsung S10 phone, so I assume the delay is down to the Sony software. Setup is typical for an Android device, however the choice of language is limited to English Lite, and then it's down to agreeing the end user agreement and what is effectively a warning not to forget the pin you choose. The next task is to set up the Wi-Fi, agree or disagree to some settings, and then to sign into a Google account, set up the screen lock, auto power off, and then you're in. I downloaded Deezer and Audible and checked that YouTube was already installed. As I was waiting for a new micro SD card to be delivered, I used the time to do some housekeeping with the A306 settings, despite being impatient to download some music. I didn't want to load any music to the internal memory, as I prefer to leave this for the operating system and for the apps, with enough capacity for them not to get choked. First up was battery management, as I wanted to extend the battery lifetime, having seen that it was only described as being good for 500 cycles, which would be less than 2 years of daily use if a full battery charge was used per day. I didn't totally understand the home screen setting option, as both the Android and the Walkman interfaces are available anyway by swiping the screen. Where this starts to get interesting is when you tap on the gold Walkman icon, which typically takes you to the current or last track played. Swipe up from the bottom of the screen and you're in the sound adjustment ecosystem. Swiping left and right here allows you access to the various options, like setting up the equalizer, turning DSEE Ultimate on, which claims to reproduce the frequency responses and dynamic ranges of original source sound using AI technology, whatever that means. The DC phase linearizer can make the music have characteristics similar to an analog amplifier, whilst the dynamic normalizer minimises the difference in volume between songs and the vinyl processor goes for a rich, warm sound. Go back to the play screen and swipe down from the top of the screen and you're into your library with preset and custom search available, as well as the option to use the A306 as a DAC. Swiping on the left of the play screen takes you to the play queue, and swiping from the right hand side takes you into your favourite list. When you click a volume button and the volume slider appears, tapping on this takes you to a volume scroll wheel. Setting up a Bluetooth connection and pairing is exactly the same as for a smartphone, with one caveat. Two icons appeared for my Bose Bluetooth speakers, and it was only by tapping the link with the headphone icon that pairing took place. Tapping the Bluetooth icon next to the speaker did not work at all. As Amazon had still not delivered my 256GB micro SD card after a couple more days, and because I was impatient to play some music, I cannibalised a 128GB card from another device. Fitting it in the A306 was straightforward, although I didn't have the fingernails to click it in place, so I used a propelling pencil and then booted up the Walkman. Swiping up to get into the settings and then storage, it was a case of choosing the micro SD from the drop down menu and then tapping the three dots top right to select format the card, and the job was done. I decided to use Sony's Music Center to transfer audio files from my backup drive. This was relatively straightforward. Firstly, I imported the folders into the Music Center, and then came the tricksy bit not mentioned in the manual. You need to go into the Not Transferred tab in Music Center, and then click the brown transfer arrow on the right, and then it's just a case of waiting for the folders and files to transfer into the Walkman. The process for downloading my current music library from Deezer was business as usual, as was the extremely long time it took to download all the tracks in high quality. Just a couple of final housekeeping settings. If you want the classic look of a cassette Walkman on the screen with the track details, then go to the Walkman home screen, tap the three dots top right and select Display Tape Playback Screen. To set your preferred wireless playback quality, go to Settings, then Connected Devices, Connected Preferences, Bluetooth, Wireless Playback Quality, and make your selection. So my first impressions using the A306 are very good, whether that be listening through my old NAD 320B amp and Mission M3i speakers, my Bose sound links, or my RHA T20 headphones, both wired and via Bluetooth. Vocals are noticeably crisper than playing music via my smartphone, and there's an overall sense of clarity and clear definition of the instruments which I'm really enjoying. I look forward to experiencing Walkman music joy using it for years to come. As I said at the beginning, I'm no audiophile, but if you want to check out reviews of the sound quality and comparisons with other similar DAPs by an expert, then I can very much recommend both YouTube videos on the A306 by Darko Audio. It's all good.